Ja, en bij ons aan de telefoon een van de allergrootste DJ's op aarde. Hij houdt van samenwerken, want hij heeft eerder al samengewerkt met Eric Prydz. En vormde met zijn maatjes Axwell en Ingrosso natuurlijk ook de Swedish House Mafia. Nu bij ons aan de telefoon niemand minder dan Steve Angello! Steve, good evening, man.
That's a big crowd.
Yeah, that's a big crowd because of a big DJ. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm great.
You're about to drop your new album. It will be a couple of more weeks before it releases, but there's a new track coming up. To get us in the mood for what's coming up. First, tell us about the new album because it's going to be awesome. I believe.
You know, it's been years in the making. It's a really personal album to me. I wanted to write something that has a lot of substance and that really means something. So. For me, it took quite some time, but then I want to tell a story about my life, and I've done that with music.
Forgive me for sounding a bit rude, but when you think dance music, you don't automatically think deep stories and what you're describing. How are you going to make the dance music feel so personal?
It's about the lyrics and the mood, I guess. You know, it's the melody choices and the sounds and. You know, I work a lot with how I write the song psychologically. You know, how do you want it? Does he say the same thing as what you hear? You know, and I try to just make that really work. But for me, it's not like, hey, this is a electronic dance music album. This is an album. You know, this is more. It's an artist album, and it's it's a story, and I wanted to tell it, and I wanted to do it in a specific way, and. You know, it has some emotions in it, and it's been a really cool experience for me.
And to tell this kind of story, you need artists for you to sing and to maybe help you on the guitar. I don't know. Do you play any instruments yourself?
I've actually learned to play guitar and bass, and a lot of other instruments with this process of the album because it's a lot of live instruments. So I had to learn. You know, so. I'm not Mozart, but I do what I have to do.
Now, Steve, the album is called Wild Youth. You had a pretty wild youth yourself, I read somewhere.
Yeah, I did. I had a really rough youth. I had a really tough upbringing. I lived a really hard life. And then, luckily I found music, and that helped me through my whole life. And that's the story on the album. You know, if you listen to all the songs lyrically, you can kind of puzzle my whole life and then the time. So it's been really cool. It's been really self-discovery for me to write this album.
There are some dope collaborations on the album with the singer of the Temper Trap and the Presets. How did you came up with those guys?
I wanted to work with guys that I've looked up to and guys that I listen to. So I every pop star reached out when I was going to make the album and were like, hey, let's collaborate. Do you need vocals? But for me, it's not about that. You know, if I do an album in the future that means less to me personally, I would take that approach. But for now, I want to tell a story with people that I've listened to in my life and people that I really get inspired by musically. It tends to go a little indie when it comes to the features because that's what I listen to.
Mm-hmm. So what you're saying is actually you turned out the big guys because you like the indie sound.
I guess so, yeah.
So who'd you turn down?
I can't say that.
But there were the big ones.
Yeah, I'll write a book in a couple of years, and then. And I give it all to you.
Okay. You know? I just want to fact check a story because I read you. I believe this was a couple of years ago. You bought a Porsche 911, and on the first day you bought it, you went driving with it, of course, like anybody would do, and you got caught doing 193 miles an hour. That's 310 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
And you got away with it.
Yep. Yeah, luckily, The police pulled me over and he was like, hey, it was 4 a.m. on Sunset in LA. There was not one single car there. It was a Monday or a Tuesday night. So he pulled me over and he's like, you were going a little fast. I'm like, yeah, I know, and I'm really sorry about it. And then he pulled up the registration and he saw, yeah, I saw you got the car today. I'm like, yeah. So he said, next time, make sure you don't drive that fast. But to be honest, I would have done the exact same thing. So have a great night. And then he walked away. So I was like, oof, you know.
That's a great story.
Yeah, I haven't driven it that fast since.
Steve, you're telling us all these stories about your life. You're telling us about the album where you want to tell this story. What's the story sounding like right now? Are you feeling happy? Is it a positive story? Is everything going well for you?
I'm really happy. You know, it's been a really hard process for me because it's so personal. You know, I lost my dad when I was a kid. You know, that's on the album. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that are on the album that I had to like. The album was the psychology for me. You know, so. And a lot of happy moments. You know, I had my kids and I live a life and it's exciting and all these things that's happened with my career and the success and, you know, everything's in there. So now I feel really relieved. I'm really happy with the outcome. You know, I've listened to these songs 1,000 times and sat there with headphones like, is this good enough? Is this good enough? Is this good enough? And now I finally feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. So, you know, I'm really happy.
We'll have to wait a little bit longer until the 20th of November, which is when the album drops. But you've agreed, and we're very proud that you would choose us to do this, to have us let us have a little premiere of the first single.
Yeah. It's called Remember. It's with the presets. It's a great story.
Thank you very much for coming on the phone. We're going to keep in touch when the album drops, and this is Remember on Radio 5.
You'll be the first. You'll be the first ones to get it.
Wow. Thank you so much. Give him a great round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Angello!